emergency meeting called
Innocent Jewish babies were burned alive
by the United Nations over the war in Gaza. Latinos in America getting their degree.
It should be a lot higher,
with the percentage of these graduates tripling over the past 2 decades. The rise of AI.
I'm about to sign an executive order.
How the White House is planning to regulate this developing technology. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Parsa K. Sajadi.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Today's Tuesday, October 31st, 2023.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Symbolic stars worn by members of the Israeli delegation. They were intended to remind the United Nations of the ones Jews were made to wear during the Holocaust. It was part of yesterday's emergency meeting of the Security Council, asking for a humanitarian stop to the fighting in Gaza. No ceasefire. That's the message from Israel's Prime Minister this morning.
As CNN's Nick Robertson reports, he made the announcement as Israeli ground troops pushed further into Gaza.
Just as the United States would not agree to a ceasefire after the bombing of Pearl Harbor or after the terrorist attack of 9/11, Israel will not agree to a cessation of hostilities with Hamas.
Inside Gaza, Israeli forces reinforcing that message, extending their incursion deeper into the enclave's densely populated neighborhoods. Ground troops, according to the IDF, calling in airstrikes on Hamas strongholds. Aircraft also dropping flyers, warning civilians their neighborhoods now a battlefield and to evacuate south. This civilian-looking vehicle didn't manage to escape, taking a direct hit from a tank. The IDF say impossible to know if it contains civilians or terrorists. The mounting civilian death toll and deteriorating humanitarian conditions fueling international pressure on Israel to call a ceasefire. Netanyahu insisting his is a just war.
It means making a moral distinction between the deliberate murder of the innocent and the unintentional casualties that accompany every legitimate war.
As night falling, more and more of Gaza's residents on the move. Many in makeshift camps. All of them just hoping they'll see the sun rise.
That was CNN's Nick Robertson reporting. Yesterday, an Israeli private named Ori Megidish was reunited with her family after 3 weeks of being held hostage by Hamas.
Millions of Latinos have been trailed.
How prepared is your family if a
Millions of
tornado shows up
Latinos
at
have
your
been
doorstep?
trailblazing in terms of higher education for over 2 decades. Caplin News reporter Alexandra Howard has more on the story from our DC bureau.
The amount of Latinos who have earned advanced degrees has more than doubled from 2000 to 2021, according to the Pew Research Center. And there have been 2.5 million Latinos with advanced degrees, making them the fastest ethnic group to hold that title. Thanks to Hispanic-serving institutions like Florida International University, many undergraduates are Latinos that have gone to pursue advanced degrees, like Charlene Goldfield. She has 2 master's degrees and is a lawyer for the Department of Homeland Security. She gives advice to Latinos who want to pursue advanced degrees.
I feel like minorities, especially like Latinos or Latinx or in general, feel like if you make one mistake or you're making several little mistakes, then, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world and you're just not good at what you're doing and you're just not going to make it and everything's going to just crumble down because it's like, we're trained to have to be better, right? Double your peers that are either white or come from other backgrounds.
According to the 2021 American Community Survey from the U.S. Census data, DACA-eligible students have impacted that number as well. 10% of undocumented Latinos have advanced degrees, which is higher than previous years, but DACA recipient Diego Dulanto Falcon thinks that number should go up.
It should be a lot higher. From my perspective, I see a lot of students in my community. They usually go for a business degree, law, or medical school because it's kind of the easiest route in terms of like how to make money.
Nearly half of all Latinos with advanced degrees come from large metropolitan areas just like Miami and Tampa Bay, where Diego and Charlene have studied. Reporting for Caplin News in Washington, D.C., I'm Alexandra Howard.
A new view this morning of a place in space more than 6,500 light years away. The James Webb Space Telescope has captured new details of cosmic gas and dust within the Crab Nebula. Scientists believe these new images give an insight on what happened when supernova formed after a massive star explosion.
This morning, the FDA is asking for a callback of 26 over-the-counter eye drop products. It's due to the possible risk of infection that could result in partial vision loss or blindness. It is reportedly due to unsanitary conditions at your manufacturing facility. This is where critical drug production areas tested positive for bacteria.
Executive action in place this morning targeting artificial intelligence. As CNN's Mike Valerio reports, President Biden made an announcement yesterday.
Artificial intelligence technology is advancing rapidly, and the federal government is scrambling to keep up.
I'm about to sign an executive order that is the most significant action any government anywhere in the world has ever taken on AI safety, security, and trust.
The White House unveiling a sweeping new executive order Monday aimed at mitigating the risks of AI while also harnessing its potential.
To realize the promise of AI and avoid the risk, we need to govern this technology.
According to the Biden administration, the order will require all AI developers to share results of their safety tests with the federal government before they're released to the public, compel companies to notify the government if an AI model in development poses national security, economic, or health risks, ease immigration barriers for skilled workers to study and stay in the U.S., establish standards to prevent AI production of dangerous biological materials, and develop best practices to minimize the risks of AI displacing human workers. Among a number of other key concerns, Harvard's Bruce Schneier says getting AI regulation right is critical.
They're not freewheeling technologies. They're more like pharmaceuticals. You get them wrong and people die.
He says AI has the potential to transform the way we live and work for the better if the technology is kept in check.
This is going to be the beginning of a very long international process, but it's a start, and it's an important start.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Today, the White House will offer kids a chance to earn some free candy from the president. The White House will also allow public school students, military-related children, and families in the neighborhood to partake in the fun. Candy will be given out by White House friends and neighbors. The trick-or-treat route starts from the south lawn of the White House all the way up to South Portico.
A scary Halloween Eve as both the Heat and the Panthers take on rivals on the road.
That's so, and so is the story.
We have a lot of cold onesies, so they have it's almost like a pajama. The trick is to use a bigger costume so they can put more stuff underneath.
Costumes under coats, as most of the U.S. looks at unseasonably cold Halloween weather. We cannot relate. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
See us dream. See us remember. See us protest.
You matter! Your feelings matter! Your identity matters! Everything about who you are matters!
See us fight back. See us rebuild. See us shatter stereotypes. See us inspire. See us united. See us now.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
last day of October, but for millions of Americans, it's going to feel like December. A chilly blast from the north is sinking down over much of the U.S. this Halloween.
As CNN's John Lawrence reports, it's making temperatures fall to scary levels for trick-or-treaters this year.
Millions of children may want to bundle up beneath their costumes this Halloween.
We have a lot of called onesies, so they have it's like almost like a pajama, and they are like animals and different characters. The trick is to use a bigger costume so they can put more stuff underneath.
A blast of bone-chilling air from Canada has cast its spell on the U.S., bringing unseasonable conditions across much of the east and parts of the south this All Hallows Eve. For example, temperatures were in the 80s in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. over the weekend, but they'll only reach the low 50s on Tuesday. Cooler than usual weather will also be seen in Atlanta, New Orleans, and Dallas, and some cities in the Midwest won't get out of the 30s.
Now, the good news is that high pressure may bring the cold, but it will also keep it dry for many trick-or-treaters.
So while millions will be braving blustery weather as they take part in Halloween,
absolutely long sleeves. I am more of a mask person.
Others will be able to collect their candy and chocolate without dealing with this early winter-like blast.
The West Coast, however, is the real winner this Halloween, with near normal temperatures and nice and dry for trick-or-treating.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
It was a rematch of the conference quarterfinal for the Florida Panthers as they played the Boston Bruins. The Panthers started off strong as they were up 2-0 in the very first period. The Bruins, however, slowly caught up, scoring a goal in the second and third, sending the game into overtime. That's where the Cats lost their grip and the Bruins take the win. The final score was Panthers 2, Bruins 3. In overtime, the Panthers will move to Detroit, play the Red Wings on Thursday at 7 p.m.
The Miami Heat also had a rematch of their first-round playoffs going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Heat also looked good in the first quarter, keeping up with the Bucks at 28 points each. But the Heat lost momentum, and the Bucks led on for the second and third quarter. The Heat had a solid fourth scoring, almost double the points they had in the last quarter, but it was not enough to win them the game. The final score was Heat 114, Bucks 122. The Heat fell to a 1-3 record and will come home to play the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I help our fellows design their paths as creative entrepreneurs. My experiences serving startups, creative businesses, and cultural organizations, and my journey as a queer mixed immigrant with Haitian and Arabic roots, inform the co-creative environment we foster at Radcliffe. We leverage our collective diversity to encourage the building of lifelong personal learning networks and mindsets that stimulate continuous innovation.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
And I'm a banana. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu. Now let's make like a banana and split.
Happy Halloween.